Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap P.O.D. Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, what up, what up? And welcome back to Last Call Pub Sports Radio. You know where it's at. You know what we do Monday to Friday. Every day, as a matter of fact, there's something kicking around the Pub Sports channel, and it's Last Call, 6 p.m. So excited to be back with you guys tonight. Huge NHL card. You know I love lacing the skates up and getting that cash. We got the NBA. We got college basketball. And we got my boy, Mig Matt, coming back in here. Going to drop his best college basketball looks on everybody to get that cash tonight. So very excited. Very fun show tonight. And we've been having a glorious week. We want to keep it running tonight. And I think we have just a window to do so. 14 games in the NHL. And that's been our bread and butter. So you know we're going to hit that ice pretty hard tonight. Shout out everybody dropping in here early with us, 6 p.m. on the dot. You know where to find us. And there's my guy, Jay Peasy. First one up in the chat says, what up, motherfuckers? You know it, my guy, Jay Peasy. Good to see you, homie. Thanks for dropping in. And you don't know, Jay Peasy wrote the intro. Man, that's the best damn intro Pub Sports Radio's got. Tell me I'm wrong. You already know how I feel about that. It gets me jacked up. Joseph Thompson, good to see you, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Dropping two of his best college basketball looks in the chat tonight. He says Texas State, Arkansas State over 144. He likes that Michigan, Maryland over 139.5. And we are aligned on his best bet number 2. So I'm excited to watch how that game progresses for us tonight. Kenny Woods in the chat. What up, Ken? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Jake Stone 9. No, last call. He's drunk already. Good for you, my guy. Good for you. We got to pace ourselves. We got a big, long night ahead of us. And we got cocktails flying all night. So you got to maybe it's a water break here for a quick shot here while we jump in and get this thing right. But the Food Town Bets is out there. He likes Tatum over 3.5 threes tonight in that Boston game. Big look to the over on that thing. Fletcher Berry says, what up? What up, Fletcher Berry? It's good to see you, my guy. Thanks for coming in. And JPC says he's right there with you on that over 144. Joseph Thompson, he likes that Texas State play with you as well. I was looking at that kind of as I was finishing up and getting ready for tonight's show too. So I may be joining you boys there on that one. Drake says Celtics ? Interesting spot last night. Them boys did me dirty with that overtime one. You just can't lose. I mean, come on, just lose. 111 in the closing seconds. But hey, what are we going to do there? What up? Ian Shaver says, what up, you filthy animals? Ian, it's always good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming in here. Kush God, intro is just crazy. You know how I get excited about that, Kush God. That's where it's at, man. We got that Cali feel to it, man. Gets us ready to go here. Gets us primed and ready. J Stone 9 says, this hockey card is sick. Man, there are a ton of games. They did us dirty in the NHL, dropping them all at 7. I couldn't believe it. It's like 4 games down before I found the first play that I wanted to lock in for you guys. But we'll talk a little bit about each of them high level and then get our guy in here, C-Mac, to give us them college hoop picks for us. Justin McAlvey's out there. Stacks POD, baby, likes the UNC Greensboro +4 spot tonight for our guy Justin, dropping his hard work in there. And what up, Caddy? Daddy says, let's get this cash. Real deal prime. The grinder likes them Sabres. Moneyline says, just do it. Just do it tonight against them Ottawa Senators, who are on their last spot there before they head back home. Joseph Thompson says, I love that play, JPZ. Best model play of the card for our guy. Jay Stone says, I got water in my ice. You know what? I made that mistake when I spent a little time south of the border, cocktail guy as I am, with a lot of ice cubes. When they say don't drink the water, they really ought to say don't drink anything that's got water associated to it, including ice cubes. But that's a different story for a different day. Big Scott 510, my homie, what up? Says, what's up, Mike? Plays I got for tonight. He likes the Kraken money line under 6.5 in the Habs Sharks game, Sabres money line, and the Bruins money line. So we are looking in alignment on a bunch of those spots, my guy, Big Scott. Thanks for dropping him out there. Ian Chambers says UCLA, Utah. I'm on the Utes -8. Spreadsheet says UCLA can't cover. Can't disagree. Can't disagree with that. We'll talk. I did add a college basketball play to the card tonight, so excited about sharing that with you guys. Big Scott 510 says, let's get that cash. And there's DC Capper says Michigan +6. I love the spot, DC Capper. I heard about the point guard and this and that, but I don't care. I think it's a great spot. Big Ten, great spot opportunity against Maryland. I think we see points. I love correlating the points to the dog. +6 seems like it's going to be a nice plus opportunity spot out there. And my homie Wine Time Sports says, Mikey, my brother from another. Good to see you, Wine Time. Appreciate you jumping in here. You guys know what's up. 6 p.m. last call. Appreciate everybody rocking with us tonight. And I'm on the ones and twos tonight. It's Thursday. Our guy T has another commitment. So I'm going to get out there and try my best to push the buttons, incorporate the chat, bring on our guest, and cover this monster card that we have. But in the meantime, guys, before we even launch this ship here, we got to ask you to do 3 things. You know what they are. 1, hit that like button. Help us grow this thing. Community amok. And we're here to clean it up and share winning plays. Not just picks, but the plays that we're actually on. 2, grab a pen and paper. We're going to share some plays, not just here on the chat. Our guy C-Matt coming in, but all you guys in the chat. I said it on Jimmy's show today. I stand by it. Sharpest damn chat in the YouTube business out there right now. This community continues to grow day by day, and you guys continue to fire out sharp picks. We appreciate it. You want to make sure you guys get those plays scribbled down, as it's a card that goes all the way into the wee hours of the morning. And the third thing we ask you to do, you already know, drop your plays in the chat. We want to recognize you guys, share what you guys have put your hard work and efforts towards here. And it's all about all of us together working with the same conviction to beat these bookies and grow them bankrolls. And my goodness, we've been doing that this week. Everybody's been cashing all over the card here. So minus a 500 day on the card, we have been able to stack 10 units this week. And the best part, I said this earlier today, everything's 1 unit plays out there. I think collectively on this show, we've had 1/2 unit play to grow this bankroll. And that was only because it was a ladder spot, right? We took a couple of ladder opportunities up, but everything's a unit, and keeps it nice and clean, keeps it consistent. Everybody can plan their bankrolls accordingly, and that's what it's all about. DC Capper likes that Stanford -4.5 spot. DC, I'm with you, man. I think it's a good bounce back spot for Stanford. After some monster victories, they were due for a little regression, and I think tonight they get themselves back on the right. Oregon State's a tough place to play, but I think Stanford can find a way to get it done. And Marcus McCarthy says, who's our guest today? Marcus McCarthy, it's none other. The college extraordinaire, Mig Matt Daddy. I can't wait to bring him on and rock with that guy here to go through the college basketball card. Excuse me, that one made me have to let me clear my throat. Big Scott, everybody smash that like button, he says. And there's our guy, Dan Kelly, says, yo. Darius Moore, it's good to see you, says 100. Let's go, my guy. Perky Bumps, my guy Perky up in the chat. Here we go. Sanford's his best bet, followed by the Illinois opportunity. I love that Illinois spot too. And then Darius Moore says, Illinois, big bag, Caddy Daddy, CBB play of the night. He likes the Towson Stony Brook game over 128 for our guy, Caddy Daddy. Like that look as well, my guy. Marcus McCarthy says, let's go. Martin, yes, sir, my boy. I put the words in his mouth and said, let's go. And Rudy says, stack hockey slate. Let's roll. You guys want hockey plays, you have come to the best spot in the business to get them. My favorite sport, passionate about it, been tracking it my entire life. At one point in time, I was able to call scores of games 2 and 3 days out. So, we've moved on from that, and we're just trying to get that cash day by day, by day, by day. We also called last night that first period under 1.5 in the Dallas game. You guys were here. You saved yourselves money if you were just auto playing that over 1.5 first period spot. We know it's been a kicker and a casher, but it seems to have fallen off the tracks. And you guys talked about that in the chat last night. So let's get rolling on it. Let's have some fun. Let's make some cash. We do have a couple fun spots kind of fastened together, a little same game parlay action in the association to get it done, and some plus money looks. But you guys know how we do it. First and foremost, we got to recap. We want to let everybody get in, get home from work. Maybe you're on the drive home, fasten your phone, if you will, or your listening device, and get the radio turned up so that you guys can hear what we have to do while you safely get yourselves home, while you're figuring out what to make for dinner, while you're figuring out what to play. Last call is all about giving you guys them looks, them splits in the cash flow. What's the money doing? We know there's an importance moving forward and correlating that action. Any last minute breaking injury news, all that fun stuff to strategize on the best ways for us to cook the books. And that's what we're trying to do tonight. Justin Belegas says, I have Voodoo Doctor next to me with a doll of you. Give me good NHL picks. Boy, that's a scary thought, Justin, but we're going to do our best, my guy. JPZ says, we will cash. You know why? Because F them. That's why, JPZ. That's right. You know what? You know why? Because fuck them. That's why, JPZ. Let's go. Let's get into this, guys. What a way to launch this show off here. You guys bring some great energy. I'm excited out there. Perky, having some gastrointestinal issues, my guy. Grab a little Pepto. Get yourself right and ready because it's going to be a big night to get some cashers here. But you guys know how we do it. First and foremost, we got to be recapping. We got to be transparent, and we got to keep it 100 with everybody on what's going on. The good, the bad, the ugly. And last night was some good there. We had a 7-4 night, and we were able to grow the bankroll with a couple of positive units there. So not going to win them all, but boy, it's nice to try. And we certainly are getting closer. But that Dallas spot to start the card off, the Dallas hockey spot with the backup goaltender, I thought we were going to get there. We had a 1-0 first period. I think it was 3-0 second. I was like, man, I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. And then the floodgates opened. The goalie rolled over and shit the bed. And Dallas comfortably won that game, but it did not stay under 6.5. So we took that L. But on the other side, where's my girl Mel out there? Mel with the Colorado -1 play. We got that one there. That was a nice plus money spot, a nice little 3-0 cruise control victory. I think they scored in that game in the first period, Colorado. Maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds left in the first period. So huge win there for us with that Colorado -1. No sweater. Came to cash at a +108 spot. Clemson, they just continue to be my nemesis. Clemson money line -130. The good news is they played so poorly that they drew me in to take some live bets on them, and then they completely rolled over and they lost by double digits. So Clemson, FU, we move on. And there's Marquette. Hey, we talked about this game. We took the first half in Marquette, not the full game. They win the first half by 7, cover the 6 or the 6.5. It doesn't matter what spot you got with that. And then they lost the game outright. So we were definitely in the right on that one. We kind of saw the writing on the wall. We talked about that. The number one team when it comes to first halves, especially after a loss last night, the previous day there with Marquette coming back and rallying, especially at home, Marquette first half. USC dropped the ball, -6.5, never within the number. Bad play on my part in college. Boston Celtics 111. I was like, this is over. That's it. It was 109-111. I tried to be positive that something would happen at the end, and I think it was Tatum who had an opportunity to score in the closing seconds, and he missed entirely. So after that, I think the final score ended up at 245. So big score fest there in the overtime period, which is kind of impressive to think about considering it was lower scoring pretty much the entire way. Utah +7. We got the Utah +7. And, you know, that kind of inspired me to do something a little different. So starting next week, we're going to have a new spot on Monday. Excited to roll it out for you guys. Maybe I'll talk about it a little bit later in the show. But that Utah +7 spot just kind of lit the way, or at least from the tracking perspective. We talked about Miles Turner. Boy, we were dialed in on the Miles Turner double-double. We projected, based on the Halliburton factor being out, that he was going to have to get more usage. The number 2 guy on the team becomes the number 1 guy on the team. He comfortably cashed the points for us. I want to say in the second quarter, he had like 14 or 15 points. And then I want to say he got to 12 rebounds overall in the game. So we expected that rebound spot there to be our backstop in case he didn't get the double-double or he fell short in the rebounds. We also cashed that rebounds +110 over 8.5 rebounds. So, you know, that right there was pretty much the bulk. Everything else kind of washed out. That was the bulk of our winnings there. But hey, you know what? We caught him. We got the right spots on those things. The Pelicanos first half smoked them boys in Golden State. Smoked them. I want to say they were up like 30 points at halftime. That was a nice one to easily cash. Kind of saw they were up like 20 in the first quarter. I was like, all right, let me park that over to the side, and we'll keep looking at some other spots out there. And then the Clippers, the late night special for us with the Clippers and the under 7.5 with Scotty Barnes under in the rebound factory there, right? We talked about it. We even said, you know, this guy's rebounds since Quickly's come in, fallen off the map. He's no longer in the position for the rebound opportunities. His points and assists have gone up. He's definitely been consistent with regards to that spot in the stats. But Rebounds have taken a significant drop. We caught it a couple of times, but the books dropped it last night from 8.5s that we've been seeing pretty much all season down to 7.5, and they juiced the hell out of it to -150. We caught it. We caught the Clippers in the under 7.5 at +115. Sweaty game. I don't believe the Clippers covered it in the end, but we got our cash at that +115. So we're going to run back a little same game parlay action tonight for you guys. I'm excited to go through it. All in all, it was a 7-4 day. Again, on the week, 3 days in, we're up about 10 units on the show. And we got a loaded card tonight. We're not going to peel back and play scared. We're going to move forward and turn into these bookies, giving the old uppercut style swing on these guys when they see them kind of shaking at the ropes here. So let's see if we can't knock them out tonight. Pimp, Jay Peasy says unders. I cashed on under yesterday. I know you like your unders, Jay Peasy. I know you do. Nunya says Jay Peasy, DC Capper, Wine Time. Dan Kelly, Justin McKelvey. What's really good, gang? What y'all liking tonight? And that's what it's all about, you guys, sharing those looks out there in the chat. Again, we got a full card to roll. We got our boy coming in here shortly. So we want to get into the work here. We want to get everybody rocking tonight on this card. And again, a monster NHL card. So look, I got to run these 1s and 2s, guys. So I'm going to do my best to kind of flip back and forth here. Hopefully we don't have any distortion or any misses along the way. But we are going to open this hockey card up here. And I'll tell you, lots of good games to start the 1 o'clock or the 7 o'clock window. Senators, Sabres, shout out to our guy, Real Deal Prime, and his Buffalo Sabres play tonight. Can't be mad at that. A lot of cash coming in, and we're starting to see the money line catching some more cash on it for the Senator side of things. It's going up from +105 to +112. Not mad, but not one of my strongest plays tonight. Kings and Panthers, these Kings got to be due, and the Panthers got to be due for a little regression here. I love the low price spot. It's -139 now. We obviously cashed the last game with the Panthers -1 in that revenge spot. But look, I feel like I was a little one play early to the party on that King spot against Tampa Bay. They went up 2-0. They lost in overtime to Tampa Bay. Now they're on the second leg of that Florida road trip, and they were down, I think they're 9 losses in a row now. So tricky spot. You got the Panthers who have won like 9 times in a row, and the Kings who have lost 9 times in a row. I'm concerned something might give here, but I do like that Panther spot quite a bit. Just not an official play I wanted to get on the card. Not even a lean for you guys there. Just high level on these plays as I rip through these games before we get to the plays that I actually have. The Oilers and the Red Wings. That's a tricky one. A lot of goals expected there. The total's at 7. Now we're seeing 7.5s. A lot of cash coming in. 97% of the cash on the Oilers. Probably makes the most sense. I would probably think just off the cuff, like an Oilers regulation spot makes a lot of sense, but wouldn't surprise me to see a 3-3 game going to overtime and everyone's going to cash that over or push on that over 7. And they caught the early 6.5. They would have won. So, a couple thoughts that I had on that there. And then the Ducks and the Hurricanes, another 7 o'clock spot. So, tricky spot. The Ducks stink. We know that. They're looking to accept bottom feeders into their organization like Cutter Gauthier. Go ahead and have them. We take the better of that trade. Our defenseman in Philadelphia gets a big point on the power play last night to push us into overtime. And the Flyers ultimately caught that game. We did lean to that under 6.5 in that game. 2-2 going into overtime was right where we wanted it. So let me clear my throat there. Justin says UNC Greensboro +4. Likes the Trailblazers over 110 team total. 2 biggest bets on the card for our guy, Justin. Appreciate you sharing. Ricky Levine says pimp slap. Let's get some cash. Kraken, Montreal parlay, Kings money line, Islanders money line. Ricky, boy, Ricky, you may want to mute us here for a few minutes then because we're not in alignment on a couple of those spots. But that's okay. That's what it's all about. Everyone's got opportunities to focus on where they think those plays are, and it's your cash, so you got to play it where you think it makes sense. JPZ says, not super excited about it. I'm not. Only knows. Hey, man, listen, unders cash too. Overs cash, but unders cash too. Overtimes, unders go to die. Dogs go to die. Jay Stone 9 says, Panthers so solid all around. I agree. I just think this is one of those spots where you had what was the best team in the West. Everybody was overreacting. They won the Stanley Cup after the 4th week of the season. If you talk to anybody around the town in the NHL, and they've had that regression point since the holiday break. So they're due to break out, but I just don't want to get involved in their due spot. I'm not mad at anybody that wants to get involved on them Panthers. I could see it being the spot, but not for me, not tonight. And then Nasty Nate says Celtics smash. Celtics smash tonight. Nasty Nate, my guy. Shout out to you and your Boston Celtics playing back-to-back game off of an overtime spot. Definitely opens up an opportunity that we'll talk about when we get to the NBA. Nunya says if Tulane gets smacked 85-60, it could hit under. I do like the under in that game, Nunya. I did have a strong trend in the AAC conference for an under in the spot here for the home team coming off of a certain situation, but ultimately I gave out the Tulane +8 on Jimmy the Bag show earlier today. So Nunya says maybe a same game parlay. J Stone 9 says Edmonton been lackluster in the first period. They stopped first period and coast. I couldn't be mad at that spot at all, especially with the Detroit team that's kind of been up and down. So we'll see how that goes. Nunya, or like 80-75-ish would still be able to cash in under in that thing. I'm hoping that's more of the case here where FAU can get their win. Our guy Dabby Cab can catch his first half win. He had FAU first half -3.5. And then we come back and cash that +8. So Futon Bets likes Derek White over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And JPZ says, Nunya, even 90-70, I could see that type of score. If it's 90-70, JPZ, I'm going to need it to be Tulane on top of that thing. So let's go Green Wave. But let's go. Let's get into the first official play we have on the card tonight. Everybody's in here now, guys. Hit that like button for us if you haven't done so already. Helps us a ton. You like the content, you're cashing bets with us. Do your part and help us communicate that we're out here doing this thing on the daily, trying to get that cash for everybody out there. So, yeah, look at this. Look at this first play. You don't have to adjust your screens. That is not a typo. I'm rocking with the San Jose Sharks tonight. Losers of 12 straight games. Bottom of the league when it comes to the NHL and difficult position. They do have Blackwood going in goal. He's no peach. He's 4-16-2 out there with a 3.87 goals against average and an 89% save percentage. The other side of things, Montreal's going with their hot guy and Montembeault at 9-5-3. Not that much better though statistically. 2.93 goals against average, 90.6% save percentage. And look, Blackwood had to come in relief the other night. He doesn't get the benefit of the full night off. He did take 22 saves on 25 shots. That game was over before he even got in, though. So that loss is not on him, but it was a loss. It was a 7-1 loss them boys suffered. And the Sharks have been outscored 31-8 in their last 7 games. It's impressive to see. I mean, the fact that there's almost 40 goals in 7 games in itself is impressive. The numbers that they're getting outscored by is even more impressive. I mean, ultimately, the average scores are like 4-1 in these games out there. But Blackwood, 89.8%, right on average with the back of his ball card here, his baseball card, is 0-2 in those spots because the San Jose Sharks just don't score. They're not scoring. They're not winning games. So what am I looking at and what am I doing? It's the old unrested trend factor. Unrested teams, often overtime loss, 17-43. Losing by an average of 1.27 goals a game. And if you look back at those stats, if anybody was curious about a draw, this could very well be the spot for a draw. I'm not a big draw guy. I know Babano's done great, and I know there's been a lot of guys that have tried to follow suit with that, but it's too early in the season for draw season for me. I save that for live betting. However, in that unrested teams often overtime loss, 17-43 trend, there are back-to-back overtimes. So we do have a back-to-back spot for overtimes in that unrested trend spot. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it. When you look at this Montreal team, just lost 3-2 in overtime to the the Philadelphia Flyers in a 3-2 game. Prior to that, they had a 4-3 game against the New York Rangers where they were victorious, but that was a home spot for them. So kind of a quick little John out there to get on the road and take on the Philadelphia Flyers and take that L. The Sharks, on the other hand, they're not doing great at all. They lost to Colorado 3-1, Detroit 5-3, Winnipeg 2-1, Toronto 4-1, and then a back-to-back Toronto spot where they got bludgeoned 7-1. The old baby seal treatment on that second game against Toronto, 7-1 L in that spot. But not going to lose forever. They're not the Detroit Pistons. They're the San Jose Sharks. They got a squad of 20 running deep in this spot here. And I think there's an opportunity for them to get that plus money cash tonight. So I'm opening up the NHL card tonight with a plus 140 spot. I think there's it's a value spot, but JPZ says it. There's no value if it's an L, but the unrested team trend is just too much of a factor. Not only are they unrested, but they're in a travel position as well. So I like the opportunity for San Jose to climb out of the dumpster tonight and put a win on the board. So That is going to be the first official play on the card, boys and girls. Let's take a run to route number 2 that we're going to here. Plus money spot again to start this card out for us. And I'm all Vancouver in the spot. They're just running red hot. Shout out. Last game, somebody in the chat had commented and said they were going to pull the sweep on the Devils, Islanders, Rangers road trip. And they did. It's not just that they swept, though. It's the dominating fashion. They whooped up on the Devils. You look back at that game. These teams take this road trip in triplicate. They win 6-4 against the Devils. We know they're struggling in goal. They win 6-3 against the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. Rangers are definitely a stronger team on the road, but nonetheless, big 6-3 win. And then in the back-to-back spot, the second leg of a back-to-back, they come out there and they beat the Islanders up 5-2. They went up fast and they never looked back in that spot. So on the other side of things, Pittsburgh's been a win one, lose one team. They just have trouble getting consistency going. My desk is bouncing here. I'm excited about this card tonight, guys. Here, there we go. And they have trouble getting it going. The Islanders win 3-1. They lose to the Capitals, the shitbag Capitals, the old man time of the NHL, 4-3 in a battle of the dinosaurs out there. They win against Boston 6-5. Then they lose against the Sabres 3-1 and bounce back, and they beat the Flyers up 3 nights ago, 4-1 in Philadelphia. So interesting spot there, but I'm all about the goaltending edge in this matchup here. We're going back for Vancouver, and where's my Vancouver spot? There it is. We're going back to Thatcher Demko at 28-1. And, we're catching Demko at a low. I think that's why there's plus money opportunity here. Pittsburgh with Nedeljkovic at 8-3-2. Again, goaltenders about par with each other. 2.54 goals against, 91.6 for Demko. 2.5 goals against for Nedeljkovic. 92.2% save percentage. Call that kind of a push. But there's a rested Demko factor here. They rested him in that second leg of the back-to-back against the Islanders. They still won the game without him because their offense has been prolific. Demko, however, is going for his third straight win. He has let in 3 or more goals in 6 of his last 7. But despite that and his 89.8% goal save percentage, they're still 5-1-1 in his last 7 games. They're still finding a way to score and put the puck in the net. Nedeljkovic is going for his 4th start in 6 games, but he's off a beatdown. He got lit up 5 goals against in that Boston Bruins spot out there, 6-5 on January 4th. So he's had a little bit of an extended rest to try to regain his composure. He's had about a week off to regain his composure. Prior to that bludgeoning with 5 goals, he did let 1 goal in 3 of his last 4 in each of those games and was running a 93.3% save percentage. But Vancouver's on a 3-game win streak. They're outscoring their opponents 17-9. And the fact that you got a nice plus money spot on a team that's running red hot right now, in fact, has dipped. So it looks like the best number is now plus 110 from the plus 112 earlier today. That is the direction we want to see when it comes down to it. We want to try to get an opportunity for that plus money spot. And I think Vancouver makes a lot of sense as the second play on the card. Thatcher Demko is what it looked like for me, JPZ. Caddy Daddy says, love to see it, Mike. I'm on the Nooks tonight. And Caddy Daddy says the rest of his plays are Derek White, 15 plus points at even money. OG at 15 plus points at plus 110. He likes the knuckleheads at plus 110. St. Louis and Islanders, no goal in the, was that the first 10 minutes? I know you told me. Okay, there you go. I see it. Yeah, no goal in the first 10 minutes at plus 118. And those CBB totals that he dropped out there for us. So let's go. Let's get our cash there. Good luck to you, Caddy Daddy. Timmy Two Shoe says, like the Michigan Stanford spots too. Like to see you in here, Timmy Two Shoe. I don't think I've seen you in there before in the comments. So appreciate you dropping in. My guy, we're trying to get that cash tonight. And we ripped open this card with some nice plus money spots. Let's keep it rolling here. We got our guy on deck here momentarily. So we want to keep it rolling so that he is not waiting. Hate to keep my guy waiting out there. So let's go. Let's look at play number 3 in the NHL tonight. And I just talked about them Islanders taking the beat down, and I'm going to run it back with these Islanders taking a beat down. I think it's a good opportunity for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have been playing pretty well right now. You look back at it here, they're going back to Marty Jones. Marty Jones has been phenomenal. He's found his second life. He's 8-3 in 11 games started this season. He's rocking a 197 goals against average, which is almost league best right now, 93.4% saving. The other side, you got Sorokin. 12-8-8, but he's regressing. He's 3.2 goals against average with a 90.8% save percentage. Clearly, advantage, goaltending Toronto. And then look at that offense with Toronto. I mean, they're just finding a way to get pucks in the net. It seems like it's day in and day out. You look back at it, they just beat San Jose 7-1, 4-1. It's tough to beat the same team twice in back-to-backs in every sport but hockey. But that margin of victory in that second game just showed they were on cruise control. And they've been pricey, beefy favorites there, minus 290, minus 455. They did beat Anaheim, but it was in Anaheim. They had that little West Coast trip. They beat Anaheim 2-1. They beat LA. That was a red-hot LA team, and they beat them 3-0. They shut them right down to begin the dismal performance that is the LA Kings. Everybody anointed them Stanley Cup champs, and here we go. Prior to that, they did take a 3-2 loss against Carolina, but Carolina's been running real hot in the East, so a lot to be said for that. And then you look back at it, the Islanders, they're 1-4 in their last 5. It was a 5-1 road win in Anaheim. Away favorites that have at least had one power play goal last game are 87-36. Huge opportunity there. What that stat says, if you break it down, is look, you're an away favorite for a reason, and you're having power play success. When you catch the mismatch and the man advantage, you're scoring goals. That's what the struggle was for the Islanders against Vancouver. They drew 3 penalties in a row that resulted in Vancouver goals. And here we go with a team that's got an advantage when it comes to having a power play goal, 87-36. When you won your last game, now you're an away favorite, and your opponent's off a loss in the Eastern Conference. Huge sample. You're 488 and 316. Again, I talked about Martin Jones going for his 5th straight win right now. And then on the other side of things, you look at Sorokin, 2-4-1 in his last 8. He's let 4 or more goals in 4 of those games. He's getting shelled out there. And the challenge right now is this Islanders team has regressed to that low-scoring, sleepy style of hockey that nobody wants to watch anymore. It's also kind of a revenge spot for Toronto. They did lose to Sorokin and the New York Islanders 4-3 the last time they played, but it wasn't because of a lack of shots. They shot 40 times. It was just a Sorokin standing on his head. That was when the season had opened up, and he was killing it. But he has since regressed. We just talked about his 88.8% save percentage. I'm taking him down at minus 125. Let me just double check and make sure that's still the best number that's out there. It is. We're starting to see 130s, though, and even a 134 has crept into the dashboard. So if you're looking to take advantage, now is the time. 7 o'clock Eastern start for them boys when it comes to that Toronto Islanders game. Shout out everybody that's in here, guys. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button for us. Parlay Angel says he likes it. He's on the Leafs as well. Andrew G said, I heard the craziest thing earlier. They might move the Bills-Steelers game if they call a state of emergency due to weather on Sunday. Where are they going to move it to, Andrew G? I'm curious. That's breaking news, my guy. Way to bring it in and give us some value in the chat. Caddy Daddy says, Martin Jones is why I'm fading the Islanders goal in first 10. Like it, my guy, JPZ. My phone typed what it wants to. Daryl Benton, good to see you, Daryl Benton. I don't think I've seen your name in the chat yet, my guy, so appreciate you dropping in. He likes the Islanders team total over. Billy Bookmaker says, Van tired. I think that's Vancouver. And then Sharon Pulliam's in there, says pimp slap. Dan Kelly likes Cleveland. Cleveland Browns? Is it a brown spot or was it the Cavs? Boy, the Cavs whooped them boys up out there in Paris today, early off and getting it going. Mel says, Mike, it's a cracking night. Mel, don't do this to me, Mel. Let's talk about this next game, though. The next game we got on the docket here, Calgary and Arizona. Markstrom with Calgary. His record shows 11-11-2. But let's not forget he had that broken finger. We've talked about this a couple of times since he's come back. And he's definitely been stepping up since the fractured finger out there. The flip side of things, Vejmelka at 6-9-2. When you previously beat a team, now you're a home dog versus a losing team, which the Calgary Flames have been because of their current run of mediocrity. They are 29-91. Huge opportunity to fade them Arizona Coyotes. Calgary has won 4 of 6 and its last 7 of 8 against the Arizona Coyotes. They have that team's number. You look back at it, away favorites that are lined less than minus 175 that are off a win, and the opponent was a dog the last time, are 314 and 192. It's a little wordy in that spot there, but we knew that the Coyotes were the dogs against the Bruins. We took them. It was an overtime win, and it was kind of a weird one that we'll talk about with this next game. When you've got West Coast team versus West Coast team and you're an away favorite, you're 16-9, also 5-19 to the other. And I just talked about Markstrom with that broken finger factor. Flames were on a 2-game skid. Since he's come back from his busted finger, 93.1% save percentage. Both teams snapping losing skids out there. I talked about the Flames snapping a 2-game skid. The Coyotes snapped a 3-game skid to the Bruins. And I think we're going to start to see the Coyotes team that we expect to see, or that I expect to see. Vejmelka, though, does have a nice little thing going. He did have a 3-game win streak going with a 93.9% save percentage. This is why I always tell you guys, though, about their overall save percentage. He's 3.13 with a 90% save percentage. He overexceeded himself in that 3-game stretch. Since then, he's 0-2. He's let in 8 goals on 72 shots. That's right back to that 87, 88% save percentage that we're going to need for the Calgary Flames to pick up that W. A lot to say, a lot to do. As Jeff says, also it's snowing in Buffalo. It's likely snowing there. It's fucking always snowing in Buffalo, isn't it? I mean, come on. Buffalo, it snows in the middle of August out there in Buffalo. Let's go. We're used to it by now. Anyhow, last game on the card for you guys here. Again, this is one of those spots where it's a lot of low favorites, but I think they're low favorites for a reason. They're low favorites because there are a lot of road teams in this spot. So what would be detrimental is if we hear there's a lot of dogs that won and it's a lot of home teams. That would really F my card in the A. But, here we go with Boston. Boston's got Swayman coming into the game. Vegas, we talked about that little flu that Thompson had out there, and he's likely to start. I haven't seen the official confirmation. I don't care. Doesn't matter. We saw Vegas. They just got busted up 3-0 against the Colorado Avalanche. I believe that was the game I'm talking about there, right? Yeah, that was yesterday. Again, home rest or unrested opportunity. Unrested home dog that has a rest disadvantage. Vegas played last night. Boston didn't play last night. They played the night prior. Also a low travel spot for Boston to go from Arizona to Vegas. Those teams that are unrested home dogs, 18-68 in those spots. Vegas has lost 7 of 9 games by 2 goals and scored 2 goals or less in their last 5 losses. So they're a losing team that's got a sickness running rampant through the locker room. Thompson was the latest victim of it, and they're not scoring goals. Road teams in this series have won the last 4 matchups, and away favorites with at least a power play goal their last game. We talked about this earlier, 87-36. Swayman gets to go because Allmark had that lower body injury. That was a weird thing for us there in that Boston game against Arizona where they took him out. What was there, like 7 minutes left in the third period? And Allmark comes out because of the lower body injury. They put Swayman in, and then he takes the loss in overtime for us. Swayman is 0-1-2 in his last 3 with an 86.1 save percentage. But I just think this is a team that's scoring goals, a lot of firepower, a lot of opportunity, and the 1 day's rest advantage against a team that is going to be questionable and suspect in my position here as I look at this card overall. So I'm locking down them Boston Bruins to finish off the NHL card for us. Couple of dogs, couple of small favorites, and I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us to cash tonight. So that will do it for us on the ice. We're getting our guy a minute or two to come in here and get ready to rock. Mel says Bruins win, Kraken win. Mel, Colorado won last night. Oh, that's all I know. That's all I know. We'll see how we do tonight. I like that you're going to go for the double dip there, but I like your Bruins look, Mel. I think it's a good spot for the Bruins. Obviously on my feelings on the Kraken. Liquor Store. What up, Liquor Store? Says I'm trying to hit them all to cash. Ducks plus 105, plus 105 on bottom. Not sure what that means, but Daryl Benton says, I like Boston early. Bruins over 1 goal in the first period. Yeah, you know what's funny about that is one of my boys there, Jimmy Gomez, we were doing a little stream together, and he talked about that Boston spot in the first period. He said he liked Boston in the first period, and I was like, I'm on the full game. And I didn't like hearing that first period, but they did score. They went up 1-0, and then they ultimately lost that game in overtime. So Boston is a team that likes to score early. I'm not mad at that look, Daryl Benton. That's a real strong, sharp look out of you, my guy. Billy Bookmaker says, just don't move the Buffalo game to Toronto, LOL. Did that, done. Yeah, I can't imagine Buffalo would let that happen. You know what they would end up moving it to is Detroit, right? Isn't that the common ground area for teams like Pittsburgh and Buffalo? Which would be real shitty to rob the Bills of a home opportunity. I think it would probably make more sense to push the day back, but I don't know what's going on with that, with that weather condition there. So Daryl Penn says, in and out, Mike, like the stock market. Dan Kelly, my nephew lives in Orchard Park and knows lots of people that work for the Bills. They've been told to get ready to move the game to Cleveland. Oh, is that what you were saying, Cleveland? Okay. They're not moving the game unless the weather. I got you. Jeff says they said Cleveland as well. I don't know if neutral site's only fair, Andrew G. They're the number 2 team in the AFC. You're going to rob them of home field in that spot there. It just seems pretty shitty, but Cleveland is Cleveland. So it's a small drive away for Buffalo folks, albeit if there's a lot of weather, it's going to be hard to get there. So let's go. Let's see what else we got kicking out there. Dan Kelly says TMI Perky bump. TMI on a Perky bump? No way. No way. We got it. He says I'm here. I don't see him. I don't see him. Anyhow, let's go. Let's keep it rocking here. I don't want to slow us down. I don't want to slow the train down here. I did tell you guys I added a play. So I just really quick, I'll rapid fire through my college basketball action that I gave out on Jimmy the Bag show earlier today. I gave out the over in the Michigan game. I gave out the William and Mary, the green and gold money line. I gave out the why don't I have it at the top of my head here? Illinois -3 is what the number was, and it is continuing to drop. And then last but not least, I had Tulane at +8. Now the Tulane line has dropped a little bit for a 7:00 start, but I still endorse it. I still think the under is a valuable play there as well. And again, Michigan over, the number I got was, I believe, 138.5. So, I wanted to do something different for this show, though. Official plays here. It's not fun for me to go through the same card and skip over college basketball. A lot of those plays were early. So I'll jump in and I'll talk to you guys about this UCLA spot here, and we'll see if our guy can get in here and rocking with us. So what I have here is, okay, I see what he's saying. He's listening. He's just got to get his bets in. Get it. I totally get it. 7:00's a tough window for everybody because we got to run up against it and make sure that we get our plays in. I gotta drop them in sometimes before the show, and I miss those numbers, and it's like, shit, I just had this number, or it gets better when the show goes on. So I looked at this UCLA and Utah game, guys. I'll give you the breakdown on this one, and that should give our guy a minute to get in here. So when I looked at this thing here, UCLA +9.5 drops to 8.5 now. 81% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the Utah side of things, but the lines dropped a point with cash and tickets coming in galore on that side of things. I went to the total. I went to the under 139, now 138.5. We have 49% of the bets. This line opens at 137.5, and it's dropped to 137 in some spots. So it did go up. 83% of the money, though, being on that over. And let me just see what we have for the number right now. 138.5, best number we can get out there. So it's starting to come back down again. There's that U-shaped opportunity. We're seeing the 138.5s. It's -110 for me at the under 138.5. And I'll tell you, UCLA, 8.5-point dog at Utah tonight. Largest line for the Bruins since 2020-2021 season. Mick Cronin and the boys sitting there as huge underdogs tonight against this Utah team. Everybody's betting Utah. The line's dropping. UCLA is 7-0 to the under when they go back to 2021 if they're at least a 3-point dog. So give me that under 138.5. It's a lower scoring game. I expect it to be a lower scoring game. When you break it down and you kind of look back at the archives of these teams here, we've got a 3-2 to the under for Utah in their last 5 games. And on the UCLA side of things, 3 unders in a row, just not scoring. 59 points against Oregon, 53 points against Stanford, 57 points against Cal, and we got ourselves sitting at a 138.5. The average line we're seeing in those spots is 133.5. It projects to me that we have about a 5-point cushion. And I just had a nice big leakage on the screen, but we're ready to rock here. I see our guy back there. I'm going to give him the intro that he was deserved last week. Thursdays are a great play for this guy to come in here and drop what he does, which is college expertise. Welcome, my guy, Mig Matt, Daddy C-Mac to the show. My guy, C-Mac.
Bang! Nailed it, Mikey. My guy. How you doing here? Why am I off here? Am I off here, a little center? Is your setup's a little
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh my
It's
God.
these new boxes that they added. You know, these new boxes had me.
Yeah, I saw it on Saturday when we were in the back there earlier. I was fucking with it.
there's so many buttons to click. It's hard to figure out exactly which is the right one there. But hey, man, I hope you're doing well. I know you're coming in here giving us your hard looks here, and you were scrubbing away on your day off. So I appreciate you coming in here.
Well, it wasn't like day off, but I just had some shit to do from maybe being on doing the show. That's all.
Doing shows all day, every day, like you do, and cracking down the card and cracking down beers at 11 a.m. like a Saturday. I get it. But listen, it looks like your card looks like it starts out for us here tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. your time, right around dinner time out there in good old Lost Bay House, Radford and Longwood. You got this line opens up at +5, 5.5s, and even some 6s out there now. 40% of the bets, 68% of the cash on the Radford side. On the money line, or on the total, 134.5s, 40% of the bets, 94% of the cash on the under. And of course, we look at these two teams. We know Longwood coming off a big win against Charlton Southern, 15.5-point dogs. They covered that spread with ease, winning by almost 21 points. It looked like 21 points in that game. The other side of things, we got a Radford team off of back-to-back losses. They got beat up by Clemson, but that was on the road in Clemson. And they lost to a High Point team as a 1.5-point small favorite, losing that game by 14. C-Mac, what's your thoughts on navigating this one to try to get paid?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull up the notes because I wanted to finish. I know you just started with that late game, but that's my game as well, Mikey. Let me hit it real quick so we can get through it. And your bet is my bet, UCLA, Utah, which you have up here. Yeah. Let's just touch on that up top. Yeah, let's before we'll get to Radford, I'm going to pull up my Radford over here too, all my stuff. I'm on the under, Mikey. They just been you went through all the scores, 62. I had it all written down here. I mean, Gonzaga scored 69. Some of these bigger schools, Nova, blah, blah, blah. UCLA just can't score. But they do have a defense. They're slow, super slow. Man, they can't shoot the ball. It's rough to watch them right now. And maybe and Utah's not the greatest defensive team, picks it up, and obviously they score more at home. And that's where you want to back them, is in Salt Lake. This number's high. I'm not messing with the side in this one. Utah could cover, but it's just too big. And I can't take UCLA, as we're going to get to in this next game, Mike. A little different, like NFL and stuff. You want a dog that plays defense, keeps you in the game. College basketball, a little bit more as the years gone by. I want teams to score, to cover a number, depending on the matchup. A team that's just, unless they're very good defensively. So UCLA, good defensive team. And this has gone up a little bit. I guess Utah's at home, and we talked about a little bit just a second ago, their pace and everything. But 139, give me the under. Until that gets beat, and I've been on about 4 of their unders, and I should have been on a bunch more. So this is too high. Give me the under. I'm with you.
Yeah, and even the Utah side of things, I mean, minus the Arizona State and Washington games, which are two higher paced teams anyways. Arizona State that game was still in the realm of an under with a 146.5. But they let up 82 against Arizona State, and they let up 90 against Washington. So even with Utah putting up points, as long as their defense comes to play, this should get us there in cruise control. So I think it's a lot of number to try to cover too for Utah with all that cash coming in on them and pushing it the other way. It just seems like it's kind of a little trappy, but I like it being lower scoring. I think that's the right play for us tonight. So I'm glad to hear you are in alignment, my guy. When that happens, we smash. So that makes me feel a lot better. Talk to us about Radford Longwood.
Let's get to it. I like this matchup. Mike, a little extra board action, and especially as the year goes on, I talk about it. These smaller schools, I start like to bet on them a lot more info. These hot streaks they get on in conference, where I'll stay off these teams early on. Be maybe a bit more of favorites, which I'm not crazy about, but in college basketball, early non-conference, they cash. But a team like Radford, I think, is really good. Longwood, excellent as well. They're 13-4 this year. Both these teams have been good ATS too. 10-4 for Radford, 9-5 for Longwood. Radford's 10-6 record. Both these teams, especially Radford, a little more on the over. I want to touch on the total real quick. I thought this was a little light, this total here at 135. This had me, I know it's a conference game, so that could be played tighter, and they do play games, especially the last few years, in the 60s. So just a lean to the over with this one. But I had to take Radford here, a team off back-to-back losses. They're 2-5, on the road this year. They got blown out at Clemson. They lose to High Point by 14. But they beat West Virginia. West Virginia is not very good. Lost to Old Dominion by 1. But for who they are, I think they're a pretty good basketball team, Radford. And one thing, they can shoot it, this team. 75% from the free throw line. 57th in the country, decent. 25th in the country from 3, 38%. And we flip on the other side, Longwood, awful, 269, 31% from 3. And one thing when I talk about teams laying points, Mike, even though they're at home, Longwood's defense might be pretty good, but 66% from the line. That's 300, 301, depending on what site you're looking at. I just can't. I thought it was just, 2.5, 3 points too many here for Longwood. Give me Radford. I got the 6, but I think 5.5's all right here. I'm going to take them. I think if they lose 3 in a row, the game's going to be tight. They give their best effort, shoot the ball well. Give me Radford here.
I like it. You talk about the total. Yeah, you look at these numbers.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lowest number that they've had in each of their last 5 games, it looks like. So it's an interesting spot when it comes to the spread, but I love that.
I think it's on purpose, though. The total, as we get it could be a low-scoring conference game, but I thought it was a little bit brought to attention. It was a little bit lower for these teams that put up some more points. So I stayed off, but I'd lean to the over here.
I like it. I think it's a nice look, my guy. I love taking the points in that spot, especially when you got a team that doesn't shoot that free throw very well. If you do get those opportunities, that's where the game's won or lost at the end of these things. And if you can't get a way to get it done, or you're just mediocre, or not even mediocre, but you're even less than mediocre, you're going to struggle to pick up those wins in those tight games. And that's where the hook ends up coming into play. So I still think a 6 out there, and it's only -1.
If you can get one, get one.
I like it.
Get it.
I'm going to tell you there. I think that's a really solid look. And then the next spot you got for us, I went a little out of sequence, so I apologize, but we got the Jackrabbits here, right? The South Dakota. No, it's South Dakota. It's not the Jackrabbits. We got South Dakota against Oral Roberts out there. Line opens at 9.5. Depending on the book, a little bit of 10 movement starting to show its head. 67% of the bet, 64% of the cash on Oral Bob. And then you look at the total, 156.5. And kind of dropping here, 70% of the bets, 89% of the cash on this under. Of course, we know it's the Coyotes, the 8-9 Coyotes versus the 7-8 Oral Roberts program out there. And Oral Roberts coming off a loss against Weber. Tough little loss out there to kind of lose it in the closing seconds, it looked like. But prior to that, big wins on the road travel tested team against Montana State and Denver. Flip side of things, you got a South Dakota team, took an L against Montana. Big dog in that spot. Big dog against Eastern Washington, took the L. And then what was that one? Omaha. Thank you. Omaha. 8-9 against Omaha. I was looking at it going, what? But this is an interesting spot because you got this kind of the flip side here with a triple loss spot for for the Oral Bob side of the house here. What are your thoughts about this game?
Shout out to the chat. My guy Perky Sanderson. Longwood used to be his nickname in high school. My guy, Liquor Store, Trisha M. All you guys, the chillest in here, especially shout out to all the members. Dana Delp, my guy, Justin, as always, Mel, everybody in here, appreciate you. Hit the like button. Dan Kelly, Andrew G, everyone always in here. Jeff M, little Mikey M, Jeff M, action. Yeah, Mike, I was going through each game by game. And when this total opened, I get the initial drop a little bit, These points are huge in college basketball. JPZ just brought it up. This is 1 point off. He might stay off the game, which is true. And this has come down, 3 points. But now I'm interested, especially at 152.5 here on the over in this game. And I think that could keep South Dakota in the game. Oral Roberts a lot better at home, but they have been great this year, just 7-8. So I kind of lean to the dog here with South Dakota, but I had to get with the points. And they can struggle to score here at times, but they shoot the ball well. Both these teams, the biggest key for me, if I saw the number that I wanted with 152, was they're horrible defensively. Look these up. And also, when these teams get together, I bet this for years, Mike, 9-1 of the over. The last 10, these two have met up. There's just points. It's just up and down. It's a freaking circus, back and forth, shots. No one's boxing out. No one's fucking doing their thing. No one's manning up. There's none of that stuff. And Oral Roberts been good of late. You know, a few lower scoring games, like Oklahoma State, 81-60. They just couldn't score there. They had 76 against Texas Tech a while ago. We're back. Denver, 89-86, 82-76. And right at this number, I thought it was enough. I just had to take the over in this game, and I did. And one thing, Ski, I think Oral Roberts' defense bad enough that South Dakota gets that 75 or 80 that's needed. Because that was every once in a while, their shooting can be a little off when they play a team and keep you in the 60s. And that would keep them off because their defense, they gave up 96 to Cal Bakersfield. Like some of these teams that they're low scoring teams that aren't very good at play to the under and play in the 60s. You know, Eastern Washington got 90, 93. Montana, not a crazy high pace team, just 82. It's the last game out. So 152.5. I think there's some out there. There's a few 153s. I took the over.
You had me at 9-1, my guy. That's enough for me. I hear, track meet with these two teams, and that's kind of how I think about this Oral Roberts team. Always feels like it's a track meet type squad, and South Dakota is no different. So I know these teams can definitely let the points leak out there, and you look back at it again, just looking at a loss to Eastern Washington, 93-79 on the South Dakota side of things, no question there. Then you look at this thing with Oral, they let up 83, they win by 82, or with an 82, they win with an 89. So the over train is going to get. I'm going to hop on that over train with you. I love that look. Actually, that's one of my favorite add-ons for the card tonight. 9.
I had to add it on. It just too many things click. This has been great history for me taking these two. And like they shoot it a ton, but they just make enough. And they're pretty good shooting teams. There's not a lot of defense. They are up and down, but they knock enough shots down. I think we get over here. I think this creeps over here.
I like it. Well, listen, we're gonna rip through. There's only 4 games in the NBA. I don't even have a touch on a bunch of them, but you're welcome to stick around and
yeah, I will. Did you have any more college basketball at the end too?
I fired off a bunch with Jimmy this morning. So I gave out a 4-pack this morning, and what I was doing before is I was kind of bringing those plays to the show tonight. But I figured what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to try to break them down for this show. I want to get to the later stuff because when I give them out in the morning and it's the later plays, I feel like I'm not catching the right opportunity to drive these trends and capture the line movement for me. I agree. I need the lines to mature a little bit more. So what I wanted to start doing is kind of putting the early stuff there and then kind of moving on, for our show here to make sure that I can truly cover. I seem to do well with the Pac-12. I must be a West Coast guy by blood here because
you're coming this way. I know.
The Mountain
college
West,
basketball, I love it.
That's where like there's a ton of teams in that kind of Mountain West and West divisions that all play games that pop off after 9, 10, 10:30, 11s. I know we got Hawaii and UC Irvine tonight as well. So
yeah, I looked at that game already a ton for about 15 minutes. Yeah, not enough to play, but
yeah, I was hawking it. But again, it's one of those things where I just need to see some movement because when you look at the overall, a lot of these mid-major programs, you'll catch 4,000 to 5,000 tickets on them. Then you look at a game like in this Big Ten, you got 17,000 tickets on it. So tough to kind of manage that. But when you get down to it and you start looking at the very end here, though UC Irvine Hawaii game, it's only got 2,400 tickets on it. And those tickets are accumulative between money line spreads and totals. So, if you broke it up, you got 800 a pop. It's not enough for me to get excited. But when I looked at that Irvine game, the one thing that did stand out to me is the dog to favorite factor for Hawaii, but it's not quite that way on all the books. There's not a unison. The one that did stand out, though, is the totals. So expecting a lower scoring game, even though there's 2,400 tickets, opens up at 136.5. Now 135.5 and 134.5 are starting to show themselves. You got 60% of the bets and 95% of the cash on the under. Even though it's a lower ticket count, when I see a 95%, that tells me some son of a bitch put a huge bet on that game to be under because it had to be enough to move it 2 points with such a low margin of ticket count. Is at least in my head, that's how I think about how it works out. So
dead on. I saw it. I saw the bets. To me, It was just Hawaii here a little bit, which is moved at home, and the under. They have not been great offensively this year, but their defense have kept them in basketball games a lot this year. Like, so that's exactly what I was looking at, the under in this game a little bit, and to Hawaii. But I didn't make a bet. I was just like,
I haven't pulled. Now that doesn't mean I won't have a bunch of cocktails and decide that I need to do something for the late
put a
night
little
special.
Hawaii under late night, little midnight action out there on Hawaii under.
I'll be sitting up till 3 a.m, sweating that thing out, going, man, why did I stay up so late? But then the other game I looked at was I looked at this Portland and St. Mary's game, and I don't know I don't know if you had a chance to look at this one or not. It's a huge number, which I know scares a lot of people away, but I've been pretty high on the St. Mary's team. They've kind of screwed me a few times in the non-con stuff out there.
I remember
early in the season, I suspected that they reestablished their defense to be able to go out there and shut down the likes of a Gonzaga and a San Francisco spots, but they weren't getting it done. But now, as we've started to see this team mature a little bit through the season, the one thing that stands out to me is what do they do against, kind of the good teams versus the bad teams. And I don't know that necessarily some of these teams are good teams or not, but when they're laying big numbers, they're getting the job done. They go out there for a North Kentucky team. They're laying 15.5. They beat them boys by almost 40, so huge win there in their own barn. Tough spot against Missouri. Was that Missouri Southern? But at the same time, Kent State, I look at a Portland team and I think, are they more like the matchup of Loyola? No, they're more of a matchup like a Kent or a North Kentucky in my mind. So, and that's just evidenced by the way that they've been playing here. They play a 55-54 game against Temple. They get beat down 100-75 against UMass. They do go out to the island. They lose 69-56 to a Hawaii game. And then, Grand Canyon smacked the shit out of them 91-63. So not a team that's going to go out there and play competitive. And I think this is a spot where St. Mary's is going to start to play the way I expect them to. In fact, as I kind of look back at my notes from the start of the year, I started to try to reapply some of those thought processes, like the William and Mary spot with their coaching advantage in a coin flip game against Hampton, who stinks as well. And I thought, you know what, let me go back to the St. Mary's team. And I just think the defense was the key here. Big number. They got to play D. They're finding a way to get the baskets, 81 points against San Diego rather, 68 against Loyola Marymount. There was a tough game, but at the same time, you look back at Portland, what are they doing? 64 against Pacific. Temple, they put up a 54 spot. Just not a team I think is going to be able to compete with the likes of a physical St. Mary's defense that wants to kind of throw you off your key, throw you off your position, and make you take stupid shots. Any thoughts?
Hey, good luck. That's all I have to say. There's no way. And St. Mary's, though, because that defense that's really been coming around, this could be the 30-point win, which they've had, like Middle Tennessee, like you talked about, Kent, just 75, whatever, 55, some shit like that. But I can't do it. Portland could score a little bit. They can't stop much at all. This is their time of year for St. Mary's. I'll wait and see. There's no way in hell, though. I'm laying 18.5. And yeah, JPZ, I'm on Radford. I got 6, but I'm on Radford.
Let's go. The other one I looked at was just briefly was that Stanford Oregon State spot. +4, now +5, just kind of free. We got this basketball doesn't start till 7:30 in the NBA, so we got a few minutes to talk about some of these other late night spots here.
Yeah, we do.
Well, I got the benefit of your time here. So Stanford, Oregon State line opens at 4, now sitting at 5s. Oregon +5, so they're a home dog. 82% of the bets and 83% of the cash. Starting to see some of the later money coming in on there. Maybe there's going to be some buyback by 11. This one's got a little bit more of a sample, though. This one's got about a 4,000. Where did it go? I thought I saw 4,000 tickets. These games start and then everything goes out of flux out there. But as I was looking at, almost 3,500 tickets. The total opens at 142. Again, marginal movement. 57% of the bets on the over, but 69% of the cash on the under. So it seems like bigger bettors, straight players are thinking this is probably going to be a lower scoring game. And I guess the question is, what it comes down to is, does Oregon find a way after the back-to-back spots in Washington to go out there and get the job done? Or do we see Stanford, who just took that L against USC 93-79, start to come back to the way they played against that huge upset against Arizona? And then they followed it up with that UCLA win against the Bruins. I was inclined to think Stanford, but I know it's a tough travel spot to get up there to Oregon State. So I was I'm kind of on the fence on both sides of it there, but I would lean Stanford. Corvallis, tough place to get to, tough place to travel to, and a tough place to play. Those fans come out, and you see it all up and down the Pac-12, but I kind of lean Stanford in that one. What do you think?
I get it. Watching these games year in and year out, Oregon State at home against like USC, these other teams, they just clean house, and it's just like that's the way. Stanford's really had their number over the years. It's just been a tough matchup. Usually, Stanford's a lot taller, bigger, more physical rebounding team. And this year, though, Stanford's streaky, and pretty good from three. This team can shoot it. They've had a couple bad games, but 38%. They can knock down shots in this one. You mentioned they're out the loss, though, at SC, Oregon State off the back-to-back losses, but on the road. I couldn't go against here at home for Oregon State. Some of these losses, they've been better where they used to get blown out, Mikey. Or just like some of the, they lost by 7 to Washington State. Same thing, 7 to Washington. I saw them beat up on SC. They were 9-point dogs. We were on that on Saturday. So I think Oregon State can hang around in this game. I think it could be a good one. Or Stanford comes in, shoots the lights out, and we see maybe a bad shooting night from Oregon State, and they do get ripped. So you could be right. But with 5 at home, and these two teams, they think it could be low scoring. Surprisingly, the totals have just been a little bit too low on Oregon State, and they've gone over. Both these teams, Stanford 9-4 to the over, Oregon State 10-4 to the over. So we'll see on this total. A good matchup late. I can't wait to see.
You say that, and now that you say that, I certainly don't want to. It's getting to 5s and 5.5s. I don't want to lay that number in Corvallis, but I kind of look now. Now you say it, I might double take that over and take a peek at that Oregon State game. Or the over in that spot there. I think we could see some points there. We're seeing big bucks coming in on the under. It's not really moving to the under, so maybe a little bit more. It goes. Maybe we see a drop a point by 8 p.m. Pacific, and we can catch a better number. But hey, shout out to a couple of guys out there.
Hit the memberships, baby. Yeah,
gifted members. Our guy Jay Peasy up in the house, dropping that gifted membership, helping us grow the community one member at a time. Shout out to you, Jay Peasy, writing intros all across the board, spitting bars for everybody. Original ditties that certainly ring in your ear. My guy Jay Peasy, always showing up in the chat, giving his plays, giving his looks, and breaking my balls about those unders. Shout out to you, Jay Peasy. We appreciate you, my guy. Andy and Shaber as well, gifting a Pub Sports membership. My guy Ian has been on that gifted membership train, and every one of them means something, my guy. Appreciate you doing that stuff day in and day out. You guys mean nothing, or I said we mean nothing without you guys, not the other way around. And it means a lot to see you guys not only come in and share your plays, but your hard-earned cash with us too to help grow this thing. So if you guys grab those memberships from them boys, make sure you give them a thank you and go back out there and make sure you renew those memberships as well. We want to continue to get you guys in the green. Helps us develop in this.
I'll be right back, Mike.
Yeah, man, go get it. Helps us develop this infrastructure that is Pub Sports Radio, you guys. So, again, not taking lightly the opportunity. So thankful to have the opportunity to come in front of you guys day in and day out. Chat it up, yam it up with you guys, get the guests down here to talk about these plays, bust our butts to scrub these cards hard and try to come up with winners. And for you guys to keep coming back and ringing the bell means a ton. So really, really appreciate everybody, putting their hard-earned efforts forward and the best plays as well. All you guys means a ton to all of us. So I know I speak on behalf of the Pub Sports community, the Pub Sports gang, and folks that get on the air to say we appreciate you guys all day in and day out. We'll tee it up here, and I'll move forward here with some of these NBA spots. We'll get our guy C-Mac to come in here and drop what he thinks as well. I gave him the last minute notice there, so it means a ton for him to come in here and say, hey, let me scrub the card a little bit and come up with some plays for you guys, and that's awesome. So appreciate him doing that. But I looked at the Celtics and Bucks game. No official play for me on this game. I'd be very curious to hear you guys, your thoughts on this one. I know Nasty Nate's thoughts on this one here. He's liking the Celtics Bucks spot. It's a 7:30 Eastern tip. The line opened at 6.5, way down to 2.5 right now. Injury and player related news. 50% of the bets, 44% of the cash on this Bucks side. The line's dropping. The total, on the other hand, is climbing like a rock. It's almost or like a rocket. almost 10 points up from the open, 239.5. Now 248s out there, still a couple 247s. It ultimately became a lean for me because look at the number that I put the lean on, 243. Since then, it's gone up 5 more points, 60% of the bets and 90% of the cash on this over. Of course, we know that last night the Celtics had that grueling match out there playing the Timberwolves, 111-111 for a 222. Should have cashed our under going into the overtime period there, but that last second two gets him ahead, and that game sails over the number 127-120. Prior to that, big scoring game for the Celtics against the Pacers, 133-131. But that was the second game of a back-to-back with the Pacers at 118-101. So second game, we know the legs get a little more tired. The Bucks, on the other hand, yeah, they had an over against Utah, 132-116. Disappointing loss as an 8-point favorite to lose that game by 16 outright. They doubled up on that number against Utah, but it did go over the total. Houston, 112-108, 237.5 number went under. Same thing with that Spurs game. So subpar competition. Looks like the Bucks are trying to find a way to keep that game under. And I'll give you guys the number, but it's just a lean for me when I look at this thing now is the Celtics, 6-0 to the over, going over by almost 12 points a game. If they had overtime their last game and they're in a non-rested position. So back-to-back, no rest, overtime spot, 6-0 to the over, but 11.5 points is the margin. We've climbed up almost that number from the get-go. So the margin in that spot is slimmed down to 3 at best. The Bucks, 7-0 to the over, going back to April. If they're coming off a loss where they were at least a 5-point favorite, that one's margin's a little better. That Bucks margin, that number's been going over by 220. We're seeing a total of 254 plus points in those spots. So couldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to get on that side of things. I just think, yeah, it's the classic, difficult spot with the legs. The legs get tired in those positions. And I think this is just a tricky little spot for me. Justin says Bucks over 123.5 on the team total on his card. I think that's probably a pretty good look, Justin. Wish you luck, my guy. Get that cash. Truth Teller says, Suns tonight. What up, Truth Teller? Good to see you in here. Ian Shaver says, I think I just support. I don't know about that. Perky likes the Illinois money line, and Caddy Daddy says point guards have a good matchup for both sides in the game. Dame is hard to trust. Likes Jaylen Brown, 25 plus points, but I went with Derek White, 15 plus points for our guy. And there's the Lucky Clovers from Nasty Nate, aka Mr. Trifecta. Let's talk about some games I do have some action on here. So 2 more games on the NBA slate that I got involved with. And just full disclosure, did not get involved in that Trailblazers Thunder game. I'll give you guys the numbers for it, just so you have it as kind of a baseline reference if you're thinking about it. 8 p.m. Eastern start. Line opens at -14. It's dropped a half a point, but 58% of the bets and 80% of the cash on that Portland side of things. Go back and listen to it's Daryl and Jimmy at the Bag talk about this game earlier. I know Jimmy was thinking about that team total for the Portland side to rock over, as well as that early start for Portland. The total opens at 231.5, has moved to 236.5 with 78% of the bets and 84% of the cash on the Trailblazers. It's a no play for me, but any thoughts? But we're 2 games into this thing here. Celtics Bucks. I was just talking a little bit about that over spot, but the numbers have moved so wacky that I just don't want any part of it.
That game, Mike, just off. We'll leave it at that. I'm enjoy it, watch it. I want to do it. I do want to touch on the Portland game here. This Thunder team has owned their ass, and Thunder off a big win. It's been a struggle for them down in South Beach just yesterday. Kind of pull away after the heat up or after the first half. Yeah, I lean to the Blazers here. It's pretty ugly. It was just a lean. But I think if you dig, when I was going through this game, I kind of, how are they going to be just sleepwalking kind of through this? Just a little bit, maybe the Thunder. I thought, maybe Blazers, can they get over, 105, 110 with their points? It's a little telling, but I still would take Grant. He's got to score. He gets this all the time. His points were only 18.5. I think he gets 20, in this game. So player prop wise, I haven't bet it, but I think you could look there. Scoot Henderson's been playing better. Some of these young guys just got to step up for the Blazers. And, I just didn't bet anything on side and total. in this one, but I think Grant, he's got to score 20. He should get plenty of shots, and they shot the ball horrible. Then that blowout, what was it, to the Knicks? Am I right? The Blazer game. I mean, they got blown out by 45 points. They were awful.
They were down early, and they just didn't do anything to close the gap in that game. They were like, screw it.
Yeah, going through the buck, 21% from three, 38% from the floor the whole game. They just weren't very good at all. And still, Grant got 21 points. He should shoot it up plenty here. 15 to 20 shots. I take his over, 18.5. I think he gets it.
What's funny about that Blazer spot, too, is if you look at it, they beat Brooklyn, but, Brooklyn stinks. We saw today they just couldn't. They're not.
They're just on a whole slide.
And prior to that, they got beat up on the road at the Suns, 2 back-to-back spots against Dallas. So they're just a team and the numbers aren't even close to the margin that they're looking at out there. The other side of things, you got a OKC team that, 2 good road games out there. They beat up Washington, didn't cover the spread, but a big game against Miami, laying 4.5, and they covered the number. So, very interesting to see kind of that situation. I looked at a couple of assist props in that game. I comboed some things together with the total when it was way lower this earlier this morning when I was looking at it. I went to the Chet Holmgren over 2.5 assists. It was a nice little plus money spot, plus 128 that I was able to capture on that thing. And then the other one was SGA over 6.5 assists. It was just a little over 6.5 and 2.5 assist combo for me. But the numbers have moved pretty substantially from there. So it's not anything I really want to get too heavily involved with. And shout out our guy, Ian, man, running it back for us there. Ian Shaver, salute to you. Running it back, not once, but twice, our guy, Ian Shaver. That's how you know guys winning cash, man. He's coming out here. He's like, I'll give you a membership. I'll give you a membership. I'll give you a membership. My guy, Ian Shaver, appreciate you, homie. Thanks for dropping in on the reg with us and sharing your looks and your
Chris Mack picking up the membership.
Shout out. Chris Mack, make sure you go back there and renew that membership, my guy. We're trying to grow one member at a time. It helps us do all kinds of things.
Come on, $5. Like we're not selling any shit. Like $5. Come on.
We gotta ask you guys.
That's the least, I think.
Come in here, hit that like button,
and this is a lot, Mike. Just to ask that. That's about it for us, because usually we just ask for likes, and that's really
right.
All we do. So
appreciate all you guys. Get in there, get part of the cause. Shout out! I see the San Jose Sharks scored, but let's look at this. Let's look at this Knicks and Mavericks game. So this line opens up. I'll give you guys a little extended coverage.
That's my burner. You know why that never be my burner? There's no K in my Mac. No K. No. Come on now.
The Knicks game opens up at plus 1.5. They're 1.5 point road dogs. Shout out Vancouver Canucks just scored. 4.5 now. They're laying them New York Knicks. 87.
Red Hot Canucks.
Yeah, man. They were a nice little plus 110 spot we dropped on today. 87% of the bets, 88% of the cash on the Knicks. It's moved 6 points. The total opens at 234.5. Marginal movement. Depends on where you go. Half point here or there. 80% of the bets and 68% of the cash on the over. And interesting spot for me. This is where I try to have a little fun. I've had some success this week, Connor, taking a player prop and then tying it to a side or a total. And, I went to maybe it's a little obvious here, but Hartenstein, 10 plus rebounds. And I got the Dallas spot under 234 was the number I dropped in at plus 158 for that little plus money spot. Guy's got 68 rebounds in 5 games. 68 rebounds. I mean, shit, he's averaging 13 a game at least, right? I mean, there's shit. So I like that spot a lot. And then I looked at the under and I thought, first of all, Mavericks, when they're a home dog going back to 2019. So we got 4 seasons of data mixed into this play. I took out the COVID year, but going back to the year prior, if it's beyond the first quarter of the season, they're 23-7 to the under, coming out the hop there to start the second quarter of the season. So pretty significant under run for those guys. They're 7-3 in their last 10 in that fit, as well as, the last 2 have gone under. So a couple of spots there that I liked for this under, and then to see the cash coming in on the over, I jumped in. I said, fuck it, give me this under. The rebound spot, essentially, Dallas, I see Dallas scores, a lot of points, a lot of 100, but they allow the second most rebounds per game overall in the NBA, third most rebounds and second most points to the center. And without Derek Lively out there, there's no paint presence. So I think Hartenstein, I think he eats in this game. You also got a rested spot for him because they had that blowout against the Blazers. So I think he's going to have fresh legs. I think he's going to come in there and get his number. His line is 10.5. So I basically teased it down that half to be 10 plus with his under 234.5. You have any thoughts on this game?
I like the under, Mike. This going through this whole game. Real quick, with all those guys out, Luka's not in, so he's been out 4 games already. They lost 3 of 4. One was against the Blazers, where they blew him out. That game went over. All the rest under, and similar scores. And let's hit over to New York. Since they got OG, 5 straight unders. The offense has been very efficient. The defense has been good. This seems like 120, 118, like these similar scores to 104. So not only full game under, I think you look at the Mavs. Their team total is 115.5. Are you telling me they get to 116? I don't think so. So I looked at that as well. I was going through this game a ton before I came on. I don't know how they score here. Knicks revved up, feeling great, 5 straight unders. Even being at home here, you mentioned no Lively. So the Knicks, look at their team total over, Mavs team total under, full game even under. I like it.
I like that, especially knowing that it was that Maverick spot that pushes the under. I love that team total under 115.5 is another way to play it. And the Jalen Brunson spot, we have JPC says Brunson looking like Red Man. Interesting spot to see how it all kind of comes together here. But Nunya says he likes the Knicks first half full game money line spots. Yeah, I think the Knicks smash. The Knicks, man, OG, what a great move for them guys now. I mean, they're making some noise. They're starting to look like a more complete team and pushing pace on a lot of teams too, which is a dangerous spot to be because then as things get deeper in the season, you got the benefit of dangerous home court there with the Madison Square Garden opportunity. So look for the Knicks to make some noise down the stretch here, but very interesting opportunity there with this Knicks game. And then last but not least, I looked at the Suns Lakers here. We opened up dog to favorite switch alert. Suns open up at +1.5, now -1s, 62% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the Suns. The total opens at 237.5, now moved to 238.5, but 67% of the bets and 66% of the cash on the under CMAC. Did you have anything for us on this game?
These two teams, like nothing to do with. I don't want to bet on them. I really don't want anything. Talked about it. Just loser, Lakers, different spot here now +1, but they're favorites at home. They lose. They catch points. The Clippers, even a team they struggled, they cover the number, come right back up, go right to the Raptors. They take them all the way. Just back and forth there at the end. And that was when the Lakers shot like 25 free throws. So they're 2 in the fourth quarter. Still, it was a tight game. So I just wanted nothing to do with this at all. You take it away. Sorry, this is nothing.
I'm going to go to the money line in this case now because
with who?
I'm going to go Suns. And I'll tell you the big spot that I had, the Lakers. 0-7 going back to November 2022 when they're at home and they scored 128 points or more their previous game. The follow-up game, they've not scored more than 115 points in any of those 7. So we got a spot where the number's coming down significantly. Their team total is 118.5. And the fact that they moved that flip from the dog to the favorite, from the favorite to the dog spot, is definitely of concern to me. I think it's a tricky opportunity, but I was originally looking at that 1.5. Everything was teed into there. I debated going to the money line when I was originally looking at this game. Road dogs that are or small favorites are 29-2 to the over when they're playing a divisional opponent, off a loss of 8 or more points in those spots. So those two intersecting points kind of tell me the road dog pushing the over is the Suns. The Lakers point spread should be dropping 3 points or 4 points against the total, not getting to 115 on their team total side of things. Says just a little intersection of simple math says I like the Suns in this spot. It might be a trap.
Have we got injury news? I mean, LeBron just still waiting on all their in and out and everything if like normal.
Typical from what I could see. Let me just jump in here and see when we look at the Lakers. LeBron's questionable. Rui's doubtful. and Cam Reddish is questionable. Nothing on AD, and then, of course, we know Gabe Vincent's still out. On the other side, with the Suns, Eubanks is questionable with an illness. He's downgraded to questionable, so he's probably not playing. Their big man center.
Bull's going to play, looks like. Yeah,
looks like everybody else is in this point. So, I'm just not a big fan of, I get the Lakers and the appeal, but, there's that Laker tax factor that goes into it as a public team like they are. And for them to be in a spot where, they've moved from that favorite to the dog spot just tells me there's something to be clamoring on there. Nasty Nate says Wham's on the Lakers. Viral Video says, Mikey, I'm from Phoenix and I'm fading the Suns. They exist to take away happiness.
Right now, they're just like both fades for me. It's like, so much act tonight. It's like Suns, Lakers. I'm like, I will be off.
I hammered away at the NHL card. I pounded on the college basketball card. I got a couple ads from what you shared with us, and I only had the two spots when it came to these plays themselves. So on the NBA, I mean, it's a 4-game card. I didn't want to feel like I had to force any crazy action. I got a couple small prop same game parlay stuff out there, but I did want to get some NBA action because I'm going to be cocktail and I'm going to be. It's Thursday. Thursday's the super paced highway to the weekend here.
Yeah. Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. I'm thirsty already. I'm ready to get into it.
All right.
And I'm going to have myself a little action on that game tonight. So, it's going to be a unit for me. Everything's a unit that I rock out there, but it should be some fun. We'll see how it works out in the end. Tons of action tonight for everybody. And C-Mac, it's awesome for you to jump in here, man. Thursdays look good on you, my guy. I'm just saying.
Appreciate you having me. Now, let's go in, baby.
Tell everyone what you got going on. Tell them where they can find you. I know we got the big stream Saturday. If you guys settled on a game, and what's cooking with the world of C-Mac?
Yeah, we'll be on Saturday morning. If you're not busy, always join.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll be North Carolina, Syracuse, North Carolina will be the game we'll be on in the morning. And that is it, my guy. I'll shoot through the stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm going to move on that under. I think I'm going to move on that Mavs team total under 115.5. Maybe throw some on the Grant prop over 18.5. And I hit all the college. Radford +6, the under, UCLA, Utah 139, and the over 152.5. South Dakota, Oral Bah.
Let's go, my guy. My guy, C-Mac, I appreciate you coming on tonight, hanging out with us.
Oh, yeah.
Not the easiest thing to do to fly through a card quickly and at the same time with short notice and still coming in there, giving us them extra looks, my guy. So shout out. I'll see you Saturday. Look forward to hanging out with you boys, having a good time. And stay cashing, brother. Hope you get that cash tonight. Good luck with your bets. And thanks for coming on, blessing us with them looks, dude.
Appreciate it. Shout out to the chat. Hit him, Mikey, before you get out of here. Hit him good. Hit him gate. Boom. We be puppet, baby. Peace.
We be father with our guy, C-Mac. You guys already know the whole group showed up today. We always appreciate you guys rocking with us. AOD, Cheshire Cat, Caddy Daddy, Justin, JPZ, Ian Shaver, gifted memberships galore. Him and JPZ, VIPs tonight with that gifted action. Joseph Thompson gives us the cracking goal, and I see the Maple Leafs tied it up. We're going to have ourselves a banger of a night, you guys. Truth Teller, love seeing my guy Truth Teller in there. Viral Video. The crew rocking tonight. Dan Kelly, this kind of player. OG says he likes that OG, I think, as well. Ian Shaver, like Claxton, overseas cash. Dude is solid. Let's go tonight, you guys. Let's have ourselves a game. Dan Kelly says, same game parlay, Porzingis over 24.5 and Boston -4, pays +575 at DraftKings. Guys, Michael Johnson, the crew, bunch of new guys rolling up in there tonight with us, hanging out, looking to see what we're doing, and we're cashing, baby. We're going to stay cash, and we're going to stay hot. You guys know, big card laid out there tonight, but now it's all about getting that sweat going, getting them cocktails flowing, and finding a way to smash them books. Appreciate everybody dropping in tonight, and you guys know we'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place, last call, 6 Eastern. It's going to be TGIFF, baby. Stay cashing, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.